Hello folks, Typhoon Carter here, and this is another DPP Revival Invitational set. I'm covering the PDC show and Mustounet. Anyways, as for PC's leading off with Jirachee, Mustounet leading off with Heatran. PDC, you might know him as he's one of our channel's very own narrators. Mustounet, he's been a bit of a old French player who, to my knowledge, came back recently and has made some noise. He had some very good team tournament results this year, whether it's World PL or ADPL. Anyways, Mustounet is playing in main event as he won play-ins, and this is a pretty tough matchup for PDC, as you know, you got the Jirachee into a Heatran lead. That's not very favorable. If you're Scarf, then you turns pretty free, but the question is, like, what kind of Heatran is this from Mustounet? Because if this is like Focus Sash, then this is like, you know, Heatran can get rocks up for free, or it could let a Will-O-Wisp rip. There's a bunch of options that Mustounet can do. And overheats here, so that is in fact a Specs Heatran. And the Latias is going to be PDC's main switch into the Heatran. He probably also has a Clefable in the back and recovers here straight into a Tyranitar. If the Latias has Reflect, yeah, you better click it now so that you don't get immediately boned by Crunch. That is Choice Band damage. So PDC looks like he's bringing some kind of stall team of some variety, whereas for Mustounet, he's bringing like, oh, this is Heatran, Tyranitar, Selby. There's probably also Jirachee in the back. I would expect a Zapdos with Starmie. That's like a pretty common 6. This Selby is probably the rocker on Mustounet's team. I think he's used this before. And again, Selby's been one of those Pokemon that's been a rising superstar these last like year or two. It's just like, it's seen a huge resurgence in terms of its viability just because of its ability to check Breloom pretty well for the most part. And like being able to resist its stabs and just having a ton of utility for a Pokemon. And 5 turns in, this is the first real slowdown we've seen from both players. And yeah, like PDC, I would expect some, yeah, like this probably stall. Maybe it's a like Scarf Jirachee, and maybe a Scarf defensive Jirachee, and then the Def Lati, I would expect maybe a Scarm in the back. Clefable is also a staple on these. Bronzong or Donphan, those are a couple things I can also see PDC running. Okay, T-Waves here. Both players trade T-Waves. I don't know if that T-Wave was actually ideal for PDC, but maybe PDC just doesn't have a great way to deal with this, because I feel like if you have Clefable, then he should have brought it in much sooner. Oh, straight into Jirachee. This Jirachee could be Scarf, could be U-turns here, so yeah, maybe this is Scarf. And Swampert shown in the back for PDC, so not quite stall, but it is a bulky offense. And the Selby is sent in, probably gonna be able to get rocks up for free just because you threaten a Grass Knot onto Swampert, and PDC does not really want to stay in, ideally. Now the ballsy play here would be to call the Stealth Rocks and bring your own Stealth Rocks out and then pivot back out, but I think it's too early in the game for PDC to be risking that. Yeah, and this is, this time of day, it's a pretty jam-packed afternoon of games, as I believe there's multiple invitational sets happening, so I can only pick one of these to cover live. The Tyranitar got paralyzed by the Celebi, so that is not ideal for PC, or rather, he doesn't love that. And this Celebi, now it's like you have a bit of a mind game here against this Tyranitar. Do you just switch out? Unless Mustounet somehow has Baton Pass, then you can just bypass that 50-50 entirely, but okay, there's the Donphan. Oh, full pair is there. That's not ideal. So Mustounet's team is a spinner Donphan. Oh, I would still expect there to be a Zap in the back because I think this is a fantastic pairing to go with a Donphan, like Zapdos plus Donphan, and then you got the Selby. And oh, double full para there for PDC. That's gotta be really frustrating. EQ is into Swampert, but the Swampert will threaten this Donphan, and if he has rocks, I think now is a great time to get them up, but you're going to draw into Selby inevitably. No, draws out the Gyarados instead. Now, we don't know what this Swampert set is. This could be defensive Pert, whereas the Gyarados showing leftovers, so this could be Rest Talk Gyarados. No, just shows Ice Fang here. And that Jirachee not showing an item, could be Scarf, could just be like Lumberry. The other thing I would speculate the Jirachee having is maybe like Shuka-Berry. Who knows? I know PDC has ran like Shuka plus Toxic Jirachee in the past. But if you're Mustounet, if you did your due diligence, you probably have to be careful of that. Heatran's gonna be sent in here, covers just about everything for the most part. Unfortunately, Body Slam Paras there, that's very typical. So good play on PDC to read that, or rather to cover just about everything with that Body Slam. And he probably felt very comfortable doing so. Maybe he had Shuka, who knows, but Tyranitar is gonna be sent in on this Heatran. The Heatran is gonna be full parad. Now, your PDC here, you could... Oh, okay, no, he does not opt to... Okay, yeah, just opts to play it straight, superpowers his Gyarados. Yeah, his Gyarados taking 27%, so that's like decent chip damage on it, and then it can only really come in one more time, provided that the Donphan can keep rocks off. I think PDC might have a Ghost in the back, but I don't know for sure. EQ's there. I would just Waterfall there personally, but I guess he was trying to read the Jirachee, but I feel like if you just Waterfall there, you still get decent amounts of damage into just about everything. Like, the Latias, you'd still be doing good amounts of damage, and then have your Latias player, then... Well, full Paras here, so yeah, got a bit of a Parafest going on here. But the Latias has to be careful of getting Dragon Pulsed here by Spectran, and what do you know, that exactly happens. PC just crunches here, 42%, that's really solid damage on that Donphan. Donphan's probably gonna get... Oh! EQ's there, nails the Swampert on the switch, which was nice, but I don't think that EQ would have killed normally, so that crit really mattered. Iron Head's here. PC does not want to take those odds this early into the game. But yeah, losing one of your Jirachee checks is gotta be real frustrating, and Mustounet caught overreaching there with the Body Slam. And Wish is there, and there's a Mag. Yeah, that's something that PDC likes for sure. Full Paras. And Tyranitar looks like it's just gonna be sacrificed here. Interesting choice there to... But the Gyarados gonna be sent in here anyways. Heals up, but... I don't know about this. I feel like you should have just gone Selby there, because like even HP Ice isn't doing that much to you, and then that way you can trade damage down. And yeah, there are multiple games happening. Unfortunately, I cannot cover all of these at once. And yeah, first real slowdown for PC. Now, PC does not want to just click T-Bolt here, because if you do that and Mustounet, say, goes Donphan or Selby, then you lose a lot of momentum and you're back on the... You're like on the back foot again. So yeah, PC down to 240 seconds. Yeah, he hasn't really had a slowdown like this since one of the early turns, I think since turn 5. And Mustounet also slowing down here because Gyarados can't really stay in on his Magneton. Because like, yeah, so there's like this is a bit of a tough turn for both players. Yeah, Cell Leader covers just about everything. And yeah, PC makes the correct call. That looks like Hidden Power Ice. And Cellbeat's just gotta shrug that off, just gotta be forced to heal up. And then if you're used to that, you could probably look to get a T-Wave off at some point. He tries to do that. PC calls that out. He is going to go into Latias. Probably got threatened a Ice Beam. Has he shown? No, he has not shown which attacking move it is on this defensive Lati. Full power is there. So yeah, these defensive Latis, they usually run either Dragon Pulse or Ice Beam. Both are very valid choices. And Reflect is pulled up here because PC wants to be sturdy into, you know, his Jirachee, and Wish is up here. Be a great time for... Oh, U-turn's here, so doesn't actually lose anything. Can bring his Heatran back up to full now. That's an option that he can take, or the Donphan. Yeah, Mustounet has quite a few options here. Going to opt to keep the Donphan healthy, and this is looking pretty tough for PDC to come back from right now. I mean, if you're PC, if you have Toxic, you better show it now, because you are way too behind, I think. And if you're Mustounet, yeah, Jirachee kind of covered everything. Tricks there. So we had a double Scarf setup here from PC, and U-turns there. This does mean that the Magneton will be able to trap it'll be able to trap the Jirachee easier later on if he can find an entry point to get that in, but... Oh man, this Tyranitar is still at full health. And if I'm Mustounet, I'm spamming... Okay, yeah, that works too. I would just spam Pursuit personally, but... Yeah, PC in a really, really bad spot now. PC down to 270 seconds here. Jirachee's gonna be sent back out here, and yeah, right now, you know, if there's a Jirachee, there's a way. That's how the saying always goes. And yeah, I think you have to like kind of go for broke here. That's what I think personally. But this Donphan might not even take a whole lot. Only 20% here. If it's Protect, then good luck breaking that BC. That's all I would say. Oh yeah, Mustounet with kind of like a bulky offense team. Pretty cool structure from him. The only thing I would say is that Kingdra can be a bit of a pain if you get a couple turns wrong here and there. Okay, full power is there. And geez, I wonder what his last is. This might be like a last Pokemon situation that PEC's trying to set himself up for. Maybe it's like a Paraspam Abuser. Maybe it's like a Tyranitar plus Superior. Actually, no, that wouldn't make sense. That'd be so dumb, but... Flash Cannon's here. Into his Heatran, but no dice, as they'd say. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think PC needs a second floater, so maybe it lasts something like a Gliscor. Could also be just something like a Rodub. Anyways, boosting that down to 270 seconds here. Magneton is locked into Flash Cannon. So PC's gonna need some luck here. Oh, there's one full pair. I think he's gonna need a second one if he wants to get out of this. Dragon Pulse is there. But this Magneton will at least take the Heatran out. And the Onion is probably gonna shake this off. Thunder Wave's here. But this Selby's probably like 244, which is normally used to outspeed, off the top of my head, is usually used to outspeed Jolly Tyranitar. That's the bare minimum. It'll run like 245 probably for like some of the 244 Jirachees as well. And okay, yeah, what do you know? The last is in fact Gliscor. And geez, I wonder how much the Donphan's Ice Shard's gonna do to this Gliscor. So yeah, there's the last Pokemon setup situation that PC was looking for, and now PC actually has a really real chance of winning this game, but he's still going to need a couple things to go his way. For one, he's got assuming this is like a moderately bulky Gliscor, which is what it might be, honestly. I think what we could be seeing here is, I think like you gotta stay out of, yeah, okay, Ice Fang's here. I think he's trying to dodge any potential flinch it, or like trying to like avoid any bad hacks. Gets the crit there, so gets a bit of a small break. Donphan's gonna be sent out here. I don't know if this Donphan will do enough to break this Gliscor. Oh, EQ crits there. Hyper Cutter. Does this have Thunderfang? If this has Thunderfang, oh my god. PDC has just come back from this game. My word. What a comeback, and great patience from PDC to set up that last Pokemon situation to give himself a fighting chance. He had a little bit of hacks go his way near the end, but my word. What a comeback from PDC there to take game 1 of this series. If you're Mustounet, you're probably feeling like this game probably got away from him. And I think like letting a few key pieces get Parrot was not ideal. So this Gliscor did not have Roost. I don't know if that EQ actually killed the Donphan without a crit. So we don't know for sure, but my word, that's probably the craziest finish I've seen so far in this tournament. And assuming he put some attack investment into this, yeah, I think he needed a crit actually. So yeah, PDC got stole that one. Alright, game 2 is underway. Mustounet leading with Tyrant. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna switch viewpoints here. So PC leading with Zapdos and Mustounet leading with Tyranitar. This Tyranitar could either be Scarf Tyranitar, could also be something like Defensive Tyranitar with Stealth Rocks. Usually indicates maybe some kind of stall build, but not always. Could also be even something like Sash Tyranitar. Whereas with the Zapdos, on PC's end, could be anything, could be sub, could be off zap. Off zap's a little bit less common, but it could also just be something like good old-fashioned defensive Zapdos. So yeah, this is a really interesting lead matchup. And Toxic's there. Oh no, this is that sub-toxic Zapdos set. And yeah, there's that patented random Toxic on a Pokemon that PEC loves to do sometimes. Discharge is here trying to fish for some paras here. And that's a lefties Heatran, so it's probably like Lava Plume Tran, for all I know. Could maybe even be Subtran, and oh, gets the para that he's looking for. And Heatran full paras on that same turn as well. Clefable, oh. Oh, yeah, PC's bringing out the fat stuff in game 2. Hippowdon sent out here into the Skarmory on Mustounet's end. So yeah, we could be looking at a stall versus stall mirror. Zapdos is going to be sent out yet again. Nice call there from Mustounet to Whirlwind out. And the Scizor is revealed. And that's an SD Scizor. So it's probably like a bulky SD Scizor of some kind here. And yeah, Whirlwind's out here, does not want to mess around and find out, as they'd say. Roost up here, and every layer of spikes and stealth rocks have been sent out. And Flygon is revealed on Mustounet's end. No item is shown, could be Scarf, could be Mixed. I think this is probably Mixgon if I had to put my money on it. Toxic's here, Mustounet doing a pretty good job playing around this Zapdos, and obviously he has the advantage in the hazard game, and oh, there's the Lava Plume. PC has to be careful of getting burnt on one of these attempts, but the pressure. Oh, yeah, maybe the Fable here. Yeah, this is not a great matchup to run Lava Plume Heatran into, especially into a Clefable of all things. And Hippowdon's gonna be doubled here and explodes. However, that damage is pretty pitiful, all things considered. Only doing 51% to the Hippowdon, so that is probably minus attack nature. Probably not relaxed nature Heatran or something like that, who knows. Oh wait, no, it might have been like, yeah, it might have been something like plus special defense minus speed, or sorry, probably just careful Heatran. And Lottie is shown, this could either, yeah, we could be looking at a defensive Lottie. Obviously it's got Friend and Ice Beam. PDC, if you have a spinner, you better show it now. Because this is not a great spot for PDC, despite the fact that he has a 6-5 lead. And he's just gotta let the Hippowdon go. And there's gotta be a Starmie or something in the back for PDC. I would, yeah, like if you have a spinner, I would just show it now. Yep, there's a Starmie. And there's probably also a second steel, maybe a Jirachee or a Bronzong. Maybe a Bronzong could be plausible here. Rotom is shown to be the last, and that Rotom is shown to be lefties, so PDC able to cripple the Rotom for now, but if it is rest, then it is for naught. Now, if you're PDC, I mean, you probably just go to Clefable here on this turn. But there's also a question of the Tyranitar. We don't even know what set the Tyranitar is. And interesting choice to go Zapdos into the Lottie. And the Lottie's probably going to trick here, is what I would imagine happening. But Lottie also could obviously let a Draco Meteor rip. That's like another option that Mustounet can take. But if you're Mustounet, the question is like, I don't think Rotom on its own can win. Obviously you have like the hazard game. Yeah, you got to win through hazards with the way this game is playing out, which, you know, Mustounet definitely has the tools to pull off because you have the Mix Gone, you have all that. But the Clefable is obviously going to be a pain in the neck for a Mustounet to break reliably. And if you're PDC, you cannot go Clefable. It's not an obvious click to go to Clefable because of the possibility of the Lottie showing Trick. It showed no item. And like it's showed Surf, so it's likely Specs. Oh, that's a modest Laddie, I think. Yeah, Draco normally does not do that much to the Clefable, but yeah, there's gotta be a second steel for PDC. Maybe it's like a Rotom last. Like single steel on these kind of structures is a bit interesting. Obama Snow is shown to be the last here. Okay. Obama Snow here, that's probably special defense. And this Obama Snow can definitely make some things happen here. That's for sure, folks. And yeah, PDC down to 150 seconds here, so that's 2.5 minutes. If I'm PDC, I would maybe consider leech seeding here because I think Mustounet almost certainly has to go either Scarm or, yep, there's the leech seed, so yeah, that's a good play. And yeah, don't forget this Obama Snow's taken like 50%. And Woodhammer's here, snipes the Tyranitar, so that's nice. The question now is, does Ice Shard get the job done here if he has it? And if you're Mustounet, you probably want to keep the Weather intact. My word, double Weather, this is pretty interesting take in my humble opinion because of the fact that, like, one, you have like I think the biggest problem I found with Mustounet plus Hippowdon when I was trying to build this was the fact that Infernape was such a pain for this kind of build. So I'm like, so when I look at this, I'm like, PDC, where's your Infernape game plan? Like, because Starmie can't really be your only other answer. Like, yeah, sure, you have the Hippowdon, which can trade stuff down, but yeah, I think that was like one of the biggest hurdles, and I'm not sure if PDC necessarily overcame that hurdle, but it's gonna be a scout specific thing. Maybe you saw something that I didn't see. And yep, there's the Zapdos just roosting up here. Show Toxic. Now we don't know. Oh, Outrage is here. Yeah, I think if you're PDC, you could throw a Toxic out here, I think. Yep, there's the Toxic, so now the Flygon's on timer. And that Tyranitar does not have a long time to like stick around, you know. So yeah, I think that's a Scarf Flygon on Mustonet's end. Hurts itself here. I mean, if I'm PDC, I'm roosting again. And yep, Mustounet anticipates this, calls it out here, brings out the Rotom. Heat Wave. Oh, so Toxic, T-Bolt, Heat Wave, and then obviously you have Roost, which is an interesting choice. Rotom gets the Will-O-Wisp off onto Zapdos, so he at least has that going for him. But this means that the Lottie just sits on it all day. Outrage is here, and I think Zapdos might actually outlast in this game. Yeah, unless Mustounet looking for a critical hit right now, I think that's what he really badly needs, like a double crit. And then the Flygon's confused now. Gets the crit that he's looking for. And that Flygon's gonna go down. However, this means that the Lottie is a huge threat now. Tricks here. Discharges. But, oh, I think the Starmie's actually in a really, really good spot into this endgame. Because you can get rid of the hazards now. Oh, so they both trade down. But if I'm PDC, I would probably just go Scizor here actually, because I think Scizor kind of covers both outs here. Because if Mustounet goes to Tyranitar, and let's see, it's Scarf, then you're kind of in a bad spot. I think, yeah, I think you go Scizor here if you're PDC, and then with Mustounet, this is looking kind of lost here, I think, because you obviously have like the whole Scarm issue. Like the Scarm ain't gonna like 3v or 1v free like all three of these by itself, or at least not with the way the game's going. Interesting choice here. Now if you're PDC, do you spin here? Okay, recovers here. Here, I would probably spin here. Or at least consider spinning. Oh, gets the spin kill. Does 2%. Wow, that's the most I've ever seen it do. And Mustonet's going to forfeit here, and PDC will win this series 2-0. So PDC with a crazy game 1 comeback with the last Pokemon Gliscor, and then PDC was able to kind of weather the storm against the Flygon and the Latias. Like, Mustounet had some threats on his team, but also just had a pretty solid matchup here and was able to execute his game plan. A Mustounet plus a Hippowdon, very cool build from PDC. Props to him. And Mustounet is not going to be out of the tournament. However, he will be facing elimination in round 2 of Losers Bracket, as this is a double elimination tour. Once again, if you guys enjoyed these videos, like, comment, subscribe, and consider donating to our DPP Revival Invitational Tuesday's prize pool. The money that everybody donates here, helps run these tournaments, and helps make these happen. And I would also appreciate if we can exceed $1,200 before the end of this tournament. We are getting close to that as we're sitting at $1,001. And that's it though. I will see you guys next time.